Hello there, Nerdtube fans. I am Bo Oliver, and I am back. He's been gone for about almost a year and a half, but Stu is back on the review because it's a horror movie. We got to do the horror. That's what me and you do.
Facts.
Bo Oliver and Stewie Stu.
Let's get it.
Looking like a snack. No Scooby-Doo.
Mm.
Fresh cut.
Bar.
No afro.
Got him.
So, A Quiet Place is a movie where your Bo Oliver unit has broken down. A Quiet Place is a movie we're reviewing today. It's a movie by John Krasinski, starring John Krasinski himself and his wife, Emily Blunt. And it's about a world where everybody must remain quiet or else monsters are going to kill you. And that's really it. That's the review.
Yeah,
What's your score, Stu? Yeah, we'll say that for the end. Well, what did you think about this movie, Stu? I'll start with you.
I actually thought it was pretty intense. I didn't think it was that scary.
Yeah,
I
agree.
they had a couple jump scares that caught me off guard, but that's every horror movie.
Can we address the jump scare? You know what the equivalent of a jump scare is?
What?
It's a stand-up comedian traveling throughout the audience and tickling people. So, made you laugh. You made me laugh because you tickled me, not because you said anything funny. That's what the jump scare is. You're scaring me because something popped out of the screen and I'm jittery. I'm jumping.
Nice.
You know? That's a good analogy,
That's
right?
a great analogy.
Yeah, I told Aaron about it before the movie. He's like, I don't like that. It's like, you're just jealous.
I thought it was.
And then he was like, yo, can I do the review with Stu? I was like, why? So you could steal my fucking analogy? It's the first thing he would have said.
Aaron should have stayed.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think about jump scares? I feel like they're cheap.
I mean, I don't think they're really necessarily cheap. I think if they make you jump, then it was a good jump scare. If you can't deny the jumps.
Is there a bad jump scare?
If you know it's coming, like if you really know it's coming and you like sense it, then it's like, all right, nigga, like, come on.
That's what I felt this movie did, that their scares, they were relying on jump scares. I mean, like you said the score before we started recording, to steal your point, that he did a good job of creating an atmosphere. And I think the sound design, the sound editing, you really feel like these people are in trouble, they must remain quiet.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I
Blood
forget what
Diamond?
it's called. No.
Shutter Island?
No. You know what I'm talking about.
Titanic?
No.
Django?
The newest one.
Oh, Revenant.
Yeah. As far as like the sound and the way they created the atmosphere, where it's like no music, how they had the perspective from the girl that was deaf. They never said she was deaf.
Right, yeah, they're allowing you to just come to that conclusion.
So when they jump to her, it's like OD silent, and then when it comes back to like the other characters, you can hear like the surrounding
that
noises.
was really well done.
So
I think from a technical level, the movie was very well done. I think conceptually, it's a very original concept. The fact that there's those news clippings where they say, keep quiet, they're hunting you, what's their weakness? Sound is the enemy. So they're not telling you what happened, but there's a history to this world. I think the way that they built the world too, the fact that it's so contained, but we know that there are other people out there, I think all of that was done really well. I just didn't feel scared or thrilled because the movie predicated itself so much on this is the situation they're in, and they kept hammering that home. We all knew something bad was going to happen. It's a horror movie, so you know something bad's going to happen, but when it did, I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, they've been stressing that since the opening scene.
After a while, you kind of got what was going on, why they were quiet after my son got clapped, you feel me? And right in the beginning.
That was a good scene, the first
like,
scene.
that had me. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, they snatched his
really
ass.
Body my son, literally my son, like the son.
What did you think of the creature, the creature design?
It reminded me of the Stranger Things.
Yeah, the Demogorgon.
Yeah. So
it felt like the Demogorgon on a movie budget.
And that's exactly what I was thinking without saying it. Obviously, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, you can't talk during the movie.
But
or
that's what I thought
in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I was watching. I'm like, it kind of reminded me of the Stranger Things creature, just the whole design of it, what it's opening its face and then you see it and then you see his little ear.
Right, that was another from the sound design aspect of the film. That was really well done when you would hear the film from the creature's perspective.
Yeah.
See, technically, I think it was, and the performances too. John Krasinski starring in the movie, and he also directed it. I thought the kids were great too, and it's like a weird coming of age family film. When you're a new parent, not necessarily a new parent because the kids were a little bit older. It's that fear of how am I going to protect my children, and I think every parent has that fear because you're always new to it.
To me, I thought John Krasinski was really good and his wife, and you could actually feel the intimacy between the two because in real life they're actually couples. So
right, they're married.
So it makes sense that the way they interacted with each other was like you could really feel and connect to it if you're a couple out there.
Right. You could see like the subtle nuances of their relationship, the way they would touch each other or look at each other.
Especially the dance scene.
Yeah, right. It all felt very natural. And the kids, too, they felt like a family. And I like when movies treat kids like kids, where kids are doing dumb things, where if you put kids in this situation in real life, they would fuck up. They would make mistakes that in this world could be deadly.
And that's what I thought in the opening scenes.
A sister who's trying to do something nice for her brother, and he gets snatched.
But he's like so innocent because he's just like, why can't I play with the rocket?
And I also enjoyed the relationship between the father and the daughter because, the son asks him, do you blame her for what she did? Do you blame her for his death? And I don't think we learn anybody's name in the movie at all. And that was, the way that it ended where he tells her, I loved you, I always loved you. I thought that was a death scene that I saw coming. I felt like a lot of the movie was just predictable because of the concept. There could have been a better way to play with this concept. Maybe not creatures. Or maybe not creatures that we see. I don't know how I would have done it. That's why I'm not a filmmaker.
I thought it was going to be more, I didn't think it was going to be creatures. I thought it was going to be like more of like spiritual, like
right.
demons type of, like a type of vibe or something like that.
It very well could just be part of the Stranger Things universe.
I mean, maybe
that's the tie-in. I don't know where it takes place. It's not even so much that they shouldn't have used creatures. It's just so many of the scary moments with the creatures were telegraphed. They were basically callbacks to things the camera or the plot focused on earlier. So when they happened, that element of surprise was lost. And I think it takes away from that creepy vibe they were trying to establish. I did care about the characters when those dire situations happened, but I was just waiting for it instead of being thrown off by it. Or surprised. What do you think about the ending? I think the ending is going to be very controversial as the movie starts to roll out and more people see it.
Well, I guess you could call the ending a major cliffhanger.
A cliffhanger that we're never going to see what happened.
Never going to see. You just hear click, clack, and...
I think it's going to split people, and I can understand people who are going to like the ending because, that's not what the movie was. It wasn't an action film where you have this badass wife killing all these Demogorgons with a shotgun.
I would have enjoyed that.
I want to see that, yeah. It's like, did you ever see that The Grey with Liam Neeson?
No.
And the final shot, it's like him about to fight the wolf, and then it cuts to black. That's the good part of the movie. And you cut it.
I guess
it would be like us cutting our review. And we're back.
That could have been a low-key ill way to end it.
Yeah. So you were or weren't a fan of the ending?
Man, I'm kind of like in the middle. I like it because it's like it makes you want more, but I hate it because I wanted to see.
Yeah, and people are going to say, oh, it leaves it to your imagination. And I'm usually a fan of ambiguous endings, but this ending wasn't ambiguous. We find out that the hearing aid is the weakness of the creatures because they have this overly sensitive hearing.
I was hoping she caught on to that earlier.
I know, she was like, something keeps happening every time my hearing aid acts up.
I was like, damn, can you make the fucking connection so you could save your dad?
It's an interesting movie. It's an interesting concept. It didn't work for me. I like the idea of it, a society where everybody's voices have been lost. It's an interesting concept. The execution didn't work for me. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 though. I'd still say it's positive. I would recommend the movie.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I mean, there's not really much that I didn't really like. I enjoyed it myself. I wish they probably would have kind of got more in depth of how everything happened.
Right.
Like, because you don't know how those creatures got there.
Well, I do think the less you know, the creepier it is, but the world building and atmosphere they were trying to establish never creeped me out because the plot was very predictable. I thought it was going to be a smarter film. I'm not saying it's dumb, not at all. It's very clever in its concept, but the execution was very obvious. I would still recommend it. I would recommend that the audience go out there and you make your own opinion. But it's good to have you back. Stu on a movie. So what's coming out next June? I guess we'll have you back for.
I don't know. You update me.
Go see Fast and Furious 9. We'll review that next year. See, The Rock's not coming back. It's in a big feud with Vin Diesel.
Word?
Yeah.
Beefing?
Yeah, they're beefing.
In real life?
Yeah, Rock versus Diesel. Who you taking?
I'm going with I don't know. I'm going with The Rock, man.
I'm going with The Rock too, yo. I fucking love The Rock.
You can't go against The Rock.
Rock 2020.
And my son is really Ock out here.
He's working, man.
Yeah, I don't know about Diesel, man. He Vin Diesel, but I don't know if he's trying to
His name is Ben Diesel. Been there and done that.
Yeah, we could go with
he
that.
Ain't Diesel anymore. He's regular. 87.